Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best centers in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM right here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if y'all haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, multiple videos every day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Trying to hit 40K at some point in the future, man. I know it's a slow grind, but we're getting there, and I appreciate all y'all's support. With that being said, without further ado, Jack Sigma is going to go A tier on this list. This card is solid, not unbelievable. As a center anyway, defensively. Now he doesn't have, because he doesn't like elite speed, size-wise, he's good, not unbelievable. But what he does do is have an incredible jump shot, and he's a really good interior defender as well. Really think he's a super duper solid card who kind of gives you whatever you need for the most part at the center spot. And size would be the biggest criticism, I guess, but I still think he's A tier for sure. Chris Kamen's one of the worst bigs in this list, to be totally honest with y'all. There are a lot of guys like Chris Kaman that are just like 70 speed, 78 three balls. Like it's not fast enough. He's not a good enough shooter. Badges aren't unbelievably complete. He's one of the worst bigs in this list. He's D tier. Jaren Jackson Jr., same tier as Jack Sigma. I got Sigma in A. That's where Jaren goes as well. Those cards do very similar things on the court, provide very similar value. Defensively, both are very solid. Jaren's a bit faster. Sigma's got probably the better release, but Jaren's jumper's fast too. Like they're both really good cards. I have no issues at all with both of them in the A tier. I think Dwight is going to go S tier because he is so fast, so physical. This card moves like the Flash. He feels like the fastest card in the game. He's unbelievable defensively and as a rebounder. Dwight is just, he is absolutely incredible, and his jumper really isn't that bad either. He's actually pretty knocked down. Like I think he's a really good card, and I actually do believe he's an S tier card. Like I think he's that good. Brad Daugherty's going to go B tier. Super solid budget big, smooth, fast release, like solid card, no doubt. Don't really know if I'd go any higher than B tier. Lowish three ball kind of hurts the card, but he's a good all-around option. Definitely a good budget center in my team. Kevin McHale is kind of stinks. He kind of stinks in general. He's not like an awful card, but when you look at him, I mean, he's got a great wingspan, right? But he's kind of slow. He's not an elite shooter. Doesn't have great shooting or playmaking badges. He's not a horrific card, but he's not a great option either. I think C tier is probably right for him. Wilt's going to go C tier. One of the best couple interiors, inside bigs in the game. I know he can't shoot the three. I don't think he's as bad as some of the worst cards in this list, though. I don't know. There aren't really a ton of horrible cards in this list, but there's a few that are definitely bad enough to be worse than Wilt, and they're definitely D-tiered. Wilt is an awesome card. You just can't shoot. That's the problem with that card. Roy Hibbert stinks. I'm putting him D-tier. He's 47 speed, and he's 73 ball. Super slow, can kind of shoot, but he's got Brook Lopez base as well, which sucks. And I mean, he's 7'2", yes. I just still don't think he's a very good card. I think he's D-tier. Jamal McGlore's a good inside. He's only, what, 6'10", I think he's 6'11", actually. He's got okay size. The problem with Jamal McGlore is that he's got a freaking 52 three ball, but his jumper's actually pretty smooth, kind of like Brad Daugherty. He can hit wide open. He's not a great card, but he's not D tier either, I feel like. Probably C tier. And honestly, I'm going to go Wilt or Dirk in C tier as well. I get that Dirk, in theory, is an elite level pick and pop big, but his jumper's not that great. He's got a 55 standing and driving dunk, which does not cut it at all on the interior. Not fast, although he's not horribly slow, and he's an okay defender, but again, lack of athletic ability, bad jump shot. I just don't think he's all that good of a card. I think C tier is the right spot for him. Willis Reed is definitely a tier below guys like Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jack Sigma, but I still think his jumper's elite enough, and he is solid enough defensively as well, where I'd take him over everybody in C tier. I feel like he's a solid B tier option. I know he's a little undersized, but not too bad. Really solid card. Miles Turner, I'm going to go low A tier for him. I think I'd take Jaren and Sigma over him, but not by like a massive gap. He's got a smooth release, really good inside defender. Has good enough speed, just a solid all-around big, kind of does everything you need a center to do. Chris Bosh is really mediocre stat and badge-wise compared to what I thought he would be as a card. He's not horrible, but he's what, 80 speed, 83 three ball, 87 interior, not much perimeter, 80 standing dunk. Like he's just not quite as complete stat or badge-wise as you would like him to be. He's not an atrocious card. He's got a decent release. He's got okay defense, but I think like low B, high C is the best you could put him. D-Rob is S tier. He's the second best center in the game after one man who we're about to get to, actually. Just happened to be back-to-back. And that is David Robinson at number 2, but then obviously Wemby at number 1. Both those guys are distinct S tiers. Wemby's the best card in the game. His shot's nearly uncontestable unless you jump at him. It's ridiculous. And D-Rob just does everything incredibly well. He's like a better version of guys like Hakeem, Joel Embiid, players like that. Just a dominant all-around big man. Both those guys are definitely S tier, no doubt about it. Ronnie Cycli is also solidly B tier. 7-footer. Kind of an odd release, but he can shoot the ball pretty well. He's got decent speed. He's a very good inside big, dunks the ball well, rebounds, defends, all that. Solid card. Definitely a good like budget type big. A lot of guys got him for free from Triple Threat Park too. Not a terrible card. I think DeAndre Ayton's better than the guys in C tier too. He can shoot the ball pretty well. His jumper's kind of weird, but it honestly is pretty darn easy to time. pretty easy to knock down. Like, he's a solid card. Defends well, Hoff rides up, Hoff paint patroller is nice, finishes around the rim, 7-footer, like good card, does a lot of things really well. Rudy Gobert. Gobert is one of those guys who always sucks in my team, honestly, because again, he can't shoot. 25 3-ball. Yes, he's got decent speed, really good interior defense and stuff, but like, he's a worse Wilt in my opinion. Wilt is faster, Wilt is more athletic, Wilt gives you a little more versatility, I think, overall. Can't shoot the 3-ball at all. I think he's D tier. I don't think he's very good. I'm gonna go Kareem in A tier. Don't think he's an S tier center, but he is still very good. 7'2". Defends at a crazy high level, really got good inside big in general, and he can shoot the 3-ball a little bit, but a 62 3-ball and not a great release certainly isn't ideal. He's fine, but he's not like elite. I think A tier is probably the right spot for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Shaquille O'Neal is going to go C tier with Wilt. Him and Wilt are the best two like non-shooting at all inside bigs. Solid cards, just can't shoot. They give you about the same value, and they're both C tier to me. Karl Anthony Towns is... I'm going to put Cat in high C. I'd rather use Ronnie and DeAndre Ayton, honestly, at center than I would Cat. They're better defensively, in my opinion. Cat's a good shooter, but his jumper really isn't that great either. He's got decent speed. He's a solid card. Probably the best card in C tier, but I just don't think he's great. I think probably C tier is the right spot for him. I'm not a super high on him as a card. Chet's going to go high B tier. 7'1". Jumper is okay. Does do a good job stopping Wemby compared to most other centers in terms of his length and player build and stuff. He's not unbelievably athletic, though. 77 speed. I think I'd take everybody in A tier over Chet at this point, but I do think he's fine. Like, you could justify him still. Definitely put him on the court and have success. Joel Embiid's S tier. Really good card. Very similar to a guy like D-Rob in that he's got a great jumper. He's versatile defensively, has good speed, super complete stats and badges. Like, stud of a card. Definitely a top tier big. Next, we got Giannis, who I think goes A tier at this point. I don't think he's quite as good as all the guys in S tier. Like, I'd rather have Jaren and Jack, I think, as well at center. Kareem's arguable. Giannis is very good. Don't get it wrong, twisted. I just don't love the jumper. I don't think he's like, it's 67 3-ball and not a great shot isn't ideal for me. Solidly A, no doubt. Really solid card, but he's not S tier at all for me. Nikola Vucevic has like 60-something speed, 67 speed, and he can shoot well, but he's not good defensively either. That card pretty much sucks. I think he's D tier. Jokic is a little better than a guy like Vucevic, but similarly, kind of slow, not elite defensively, not a top tier jumper. Like, he's okay. You could maybe argue Jokic B tier. Let me look at this card. I haven't looked at him in a while. 79 speed, 89 3-ball. The defense isn't good, but he is a good shooter. His release isn't great, but the defense is pretty mid, and he's not fast. I'm going to leave him in C tier. Dikembe is going to go top of D tier. Honestly, I think Shaq and Wilt are both slightly better insides than Dikembe is, but he's an inside. He's a good inside, but he can't shoot at all, and he's not elite speed. He's like a better Gobert, worse Shaq and Wilt, in my opinion, so I think C tier is fair for him as well. Sabonis is in a similar vote as Vucevic. Not a great defender, not fast. His speed's in the 60s. Not an elite card either. Artis Gilmore has 65 speed and like a 50-something 3-ball. He is slow and can't shoot. That's not going to cut it. And then Akeem is obviously S tier as well. He's the final S tier big on this list. Very, very similar card to guys like Akeem or to D-Rob and Joel. So again, great defender, solid release, good speed, rebounder, interior, all that type of stuff is elite, and he's a great dunker as well. Hakeem is a very, very good card and a great way to cap off this tier list. So with that being said, that is the best centers in my team ranked right now. Tomorrow, I know we're getting PJ Brown as well and Joakim Noah. I think PJ Brown's going to be an A tier center. I think Joakim Noah is going to be B tier. Just in case you're wondering where I would put those cards in this list as well. I made the list before those cards were announced, but that's where I would put those guys in case you're wondering. That is going to do it for this video. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.